Hey, what's up everybody? This is Mage, and today I'm going to be bringing you a Play Free-For-All game from the Play Free-For-All and Search for Freedom Tournament number 3. It's going to feature one really well-known player and then some other great players as well, but we're going to start with the one that you're all waiting for probably. On the middle left we have WarchiefRich, who I'm going to call Rich. He's clearly a well-known solo player, has done very well throughout Zotac and a bunch of other tournaments, so excited to see him play Free-For-All, and we will see how that goes. In the top, we have Rubin playing human here. I do not know anything about him, except that this is the third time I've been in a game with him, due to the fact that we've had to restart this game twice. In the right corner here, we have Flavus. I also don't really know anything about Flavus, I'm afraid. He is playing Night Elf as well, so that's going to make our account 2 humans and 2 Night Elves. And in the bottom, we have 4ER Whack. I don't really know much about him. I'm going to call him ER for this game, just because I don't have anything better to call him. And it looks like he is doing a pretty typical opening for human as well. So this map is called Symmetrical Chaos. I can't say I know a whole lot about it, except for the fact that it is a pretty new map for Ugri, and the creeps are apparently very tough in the middle. Looks like Rich is going to open with a pretty standard Demon Hunter, Ancient of War creeping archer build. Looks like Rubin will open with most likely an Archmage Footman. Yep. Here we have Flavus, who is going to go with a Tavern here, it looks like. I'm guessing he'll pick up a Dark Ranger, maybe. Certainly be a good bet against this. And then we have our other human player, ER, playing Archmage. So, can't really say how this game is going to go. Unfortunately, I'm mostly cast with people I know about mostly, but this should make it exciting. I'm hoping that we have a very quick and interesting game. A lot of the free-for-all players fall into the trap of having very slow games, and I'm hoping when we inject some solo blood that's going to make it more interesting, more exciting, and create a lot of good moments within the game. Rich here has gone ahead and successfully managed to open up the one Archer AOW creep on these creeps over here. I suspect he's then going to move it on to this creep path going right into here. It does look like we have the pretty typical water elemental creeping going on for ER, and then Flavus is going to go ahead and pick up his Tavern hero here. It's just a question of what it will be. He does pick up the Dark Ranger. So far I'm 4 for 4 on guessing what the heroes are going to be. Pretty proud of myself there. Usually I get like 2 out of 4 since people try to surprise me all the time. I have to say that while they're all pretty standard, I think they're very solid bets. I like Rich's idea of going with the Demon Hunter here. I'm not sure if it's purely because he is a solo player or because there are so many human players on the map. However, Demon Hunter is a great hero to play against human later on. You pick up the Panda second and then the Keeper of the Grove third. It allows for some good hero focus, and then you have the Panda to take care of your tank problems. The Archmages obviously are both very solid, very standard choices. I suspect with the map being as big as it is that it's going to be very important that we get a lot of mass teleportation going on. I'd almost be interested to see if any of our human players are going to go with a solo Archmage up to level 5 and then pick up the later heroes pick up the second and third hero later on. This might be a good idea just because of the fact that mass teleportation could be so important, and you can get it so much quicker if you stick with one hero for a while. The Dark Ranger is a solid choice. It's pretty much the bread and butter of the Night Elf race, except for the Panda. That's clearly the number 1 hero, but the Dark Ranger has to be the second most used hero in my opinion. It's very solid. Early game, it should do a lot of damage to the human armies just because you can silence it. Late game, he may have more problems because the Paladin will be able to go in with Divine Shield, and then he won't be able to silence it, and the human heroes will just live forever. My guess is he too will pick up the Panda second, and then not sure what he'll go with third. I would guess it'll be either Keeper of the Grove or the Priestess of the Moon, but you really do never know. You could see something like an Alchemist thrown in there, which would be a fantastic choice as well for Acid Bomb and Transmute. Nice tome drop there. It does get the Tome of Experience, so we've got pretty much pretty even creeping so far with a bunch of level 2, soon to be level 3 heroes. And sorry about that, looks like we're having a little bit of a bot issue going on, but we will fix that momentarily, of course. And here we go. It does look like we have a successful start to the stream. Watching that now, just making sure that everything is running smoothly on it. And we're pretty much at level 3 for all of our heroes. Just going around here. Nobody has tried to get an expansion yet, probably wise due to the fact that they look like they're pretty tough creeps. So we've got almost level 2 on the purple human. We've got Rich has level, or tier 2 already, sorry. ER has tier 2 as well, as does Flavus. So with Rubin picking up his tier 2 just now, that puts us all pretty evenly here. Is going to grab a Mountain King second, so no surprise there. Rich has not yet started going for a second hero, might be going for a Tavern hero. And then we have the Mountain King coming second as well for ER, and no second hero yet for Flavus. So I'm guessing Flavus has the Panda out already, and Rich just grabbed his Panda as well. So pretty standard heroes so far. We do look like we're going to see the first of the red creeps go down to Flavus here, so a nice job on his part, managing to go ahead and take this down. Has not lost any of the archers yet that I've seen, so that's pretty important later on, although it does look like I may have jinxed that. Nope, they are going to get away here, so we're going to hit level 2 on that Panda. Panda picks up a Sobi, nope, Burner Protection +4, but does have a Sobi mask as well, so a nice item for that Panda. He's certainly going to be happy to have that on him. And then we have 4ER is about to attempt going after his own red creep camp here as well. And Flavus is the first one to put an expansion up there, so that could prove to play a very important role later on, although we do have the militia coming in for 4ER, and I'm guessing we're going to go ahead and see his expansion going up momentarily as well. So it does look like we are going to have pretty standard expansions here. The only interesting thing would be if Rubin decided to go to his left. However, he is going to go to his right for his expansion as well, so pretty typical early on opening. Is going to lose that footman though, and this may be tougher for Rubin than he is anticipating. Does bring in the militia here as well as his Mountain King, so should be able to take this down pretty easily. Needs to get rid of this Maiden of Pain though. Over here it does look like 4ER is taking care of business very solidly, very quickly. Good to see on that bit, and Rich is the only one to not attempt to take down one of his red camps yet. He is discovering that there are some nether dragons at those red creep camps by the mercenaries. That's not going to be a lot of fun for him to deal with, and I'm guessing he's a little bit hesitant to take those on. But he is going to have Tree of Eternity relatively soon and pick up the Orb of Venom on his Demon Hunter. The question will be, what will the third hero be? I'm guessing it's going to be a Keeper of the Grove for him. I think that makes a lot of sense for his human, but there are a lot of choices that could fit very well. Priestess of Moon for the scouting on such a big map, always important. And then Starfall can be really quite the boon for a Night Elf player later on. Flavus may decide to go for a Priestess of the Moon just for the synergy that it has with the range units it looks like he's getting here. Went for some dots as well as a Dryad. I'm not sure if that's just the typical standard Dryad that a Night Elf army has, or if he plans to go for a mostly ground army. Having a lot of trouble taking this Elder Warlock down at the moment due to the mana shield there. Is going to grab it and gets a Spike Collar. Not the best thing ever, but can't hurt either. So the Nether Drakes here are proving to be quite the handful for Rich, but he is going to be able to take these down successfully. I believe has enough ranged units with the Dryads being mixed in now. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the base. It does look like Rich is going to go for the pretty standard solo Ancient of Lore army. He does not have an expansion yet, which is going to prove to be a rather large problem for him, I'm guessing. 4ER still stuck at Keep, has not even started to go tier 3 yet. That may be his bane later on as well if he gets hit anytime soon. Tree of Eternity is up for Flavus. He is very low on both wood and gold. However, I'm guessing that he's going to go for the pretty typical Chippo type army for Night Elf. And then Rubin, very low on gold and wood as well, but he does have his castle up and some Griffin Aviary, so I'm guessing we're going to see a Griffin-based army. Paladin third, no surprise there. So at this point, I have to say, I really like where Flavus is at this point, I think. Rich, I think, has the best heroes at the moment. He's got that Pendant of Energy on his Panda. Demon Hunter level 5 is going to be incredibly impressive once it gets there. And he is going to go ahead and double creep at this point. So, nice little move by Rich. Good to see. I'm guessing that he is going to manage to grab level 5 once he goes for the expansion. However, his main downfall is going to be the fact that he really does not have very much gold or wood to spare. He is capped at 50 right now, though clearly building moonwells to get above that. and he could just be outgolded. We know he has fantastic micro, however, if you are outgolded 10 to 1, there's nothing you can do about it. He does pick up a Dark Ranger third. It's an interesting choice there. I'm guessing he's trying to take the Paladin out of the equation here, and going to go ahead and push on 4ER. So 4ER probably not expecting that, and not going to be terribly happy about that. Still a lot of creeps on the map. We'll see if Rich can do enough damage here to make it worth his while. Does not yet have the Mastered on the Druid of the Claw. Does get that one out of the way quickly, so that's good for him. And will be able to do a significant amount of damage with this level 3 Panda. However, there are a lot of towers doing a good bit of damage here. Fortunately, they have not yet been upgraded. So Rich still in pretty good shape at the moment. However, if 4ER TP's in here, he could be in some trouble. Level 4 Archmage, level 3 Mountain King, and does have an extra Talisman of the Wild on him. Looks like he's actually just going to walk in, not bothering to go ahead and teleport. Guessing the Panda is going to go ahead and be staffed out of here momentarily once it gets a little weaker. However, a good stun from the Mountain King could do a lot of damage to it. Could be a problem for Rich. Let's see how he does here. Leads with the Archmage in, trying to get some archers out of the way. Does have that Furbolg, which can be dispelled, I believe, by the Dryad. We're going to see that Water Elemental go down, and is this going to be... Nope, does manage to go ahead and staff that out of the way. Some nice micro on Rich's part here. Bear gets mastered just in time to die. Bit of a shame there, but not much you can do. Mountain King is going to be burned down by the Demon Hunter, though, showing why the Demon Hunter is such a great choice for Night Elf players when you are facing human. Dark Ranger does grab level 2 there, and not going to be able to take down that Mountain King, so going to go ahead and just destroy the expansion, possibly expand onto it himself. He does have that Wisp there. Let's go ahead and check in on some of our other players. Keeper of the Grove third for Flavus. Nice choice there. I'm a huge fan of the Keeper of the Grove, or Night Elf players, due to the fact that they have no other stun when they are facing human players, and that's really just so important to be able to get some stun going on. Does manage to get a Tome of Experience, which should be a huge boon for him. Let's see if he manages to complete the creep camp successfully, though. Going to take that on the Keeper of the Grove. Don't like that choice. Would have liked to see him level up that Dark Ranger and then go ahead and grab it. Decides that these creeps are way too tough and he's going to have to back off here. Let's see if Rubin is going to fare any better. Does not look like he is in good shape at the moment. Yeah, these are really tough creep camps, it looks like. Is going to manage to tank a little bit with his Mountain King and take some down. And there we go. Big, nice Water Elemental coming out to do some tanking here. Let's see if he can manage to successfully change it over. And that Mountain King looking pretty low there. That's not going to be a that is going to be a big deal if he loses that. Orb of Darkness does come out. Going to grab that on the Paladin most likely. Or just ignore it for a little while. And it does look like Rubin is going to go ahead and successfully take down this creep camp. So he is the first one to grab one of the middle ones. Let's see if he expands on it as well. Just looking over here, it does look like Rich is going to go ahead and expand onto this expansion here. So 4ER is going to be in a pretty rough shape right now. Be interesting to see if he manages to push back. Does not look like he's going to break 50. In fact, he is capped at 42. So Rich may be able to take him down at 50 food. He does not have a whole lot of gold or wood to spare. However, he does have that micro on his side, and his heroes are pretty damn good at the moment. However, it does look like he may actually go ahead and just creep the rest of these first. A wise choice on his part, I think. If he can grab level 5 on that Demon Hunter before he engages again, then that would certainly be the best alternative for him. Excuse me. So Flavus going to go ahead and try his luck with the middle camp here. This actually looks pretty tough in and of itself as well. Going to go ahead and kite some of these units back, try and get them blocked up here. Unfortunately, it's mostly ranged. That silence on the Paladin, the Panda, really not a good thing for him. He does have them choked up a little bit here with him trying to retreat, and is going to save himself a lot of damage from that. However, really not what you want to see right now is your heroes dying so quickly to the creeps. You can see Rich over here doing a nice job of managing to take down this. Grabs level 5, level 3 on the Panda, and level 2 on the Dark Ranger. And grabs an Inferno Stone. So that could be the most important part of all that, since the Inferno Stone is far and away one of the best items in the game. Even if it is just a one-time use thing, you both get that stun and a really good unit for some good DPS. Looks like we're going to have a lot of mortar coming out of 4ER's base right now. Good counter, I think, although really ideally he'd be in a 80 food range and able to just go ahead and get up right now. However, it does not look like that's going to happen, and we are going to have Rich try and take him down a little bit. Not sure if he's going to focus down some of these workshops or just try and pick off units here or there. Unfortunately, both of them are losing quite a bit of gold and experience by fighting right now. Ideally, they would be taking down some of the last remaining red camps here. I mean, there are certainly a number of creeps left on the map, and that would save them both units, gold, and would gain them an experience advantage. I mean, we can see that wherever Rubin is, yep, so despite the fact that he has not fought anybody yet, he is 5-3-3. Probably going to be able to get 5-4-4 out of his heroes by the time he's done creeping, and he's grabbed a Potion of Divinity, and yeah, that's the most significant at this point. It does look like Rich is going to go ahead and do a little more creeping while he waits for his opponent to either counterattack him or for his gold to be good enough to push to 80 and move into the base. Does look like he is going to get hit as his expansion that he has just put up. Be interesting to see if Rich TP's in there, lets it go. I'm guessing he's going to try and TP in to save it. But there are certainly no guarantees at this point. However, we do see it coming in here. He does have a Scroll of Resurrection with the ground army that he has is really going to be a very nice scroll. Usually it's not a whole lot of use for Night Elf. And 4ER are going to go ahead and just TP out of here. He did manage to take the Expo down though. Rich just a moment too late to do anything about it. Flavus up to 80 here. I think this is actually a very smart decision. With how tough these creeps are, you don't really want to risk it, and it's very, very advantageous to grab all these creeps. So nice silence on the creeps. We should see the Chimeras doing a bunch of splash damage momentarily. Surprised he's not focusing that Dark Wizard. There we go. He is going to focus down that Dark Wizard now. It's clearly the most dangerous of these. And there we go. Takes it down, picks up a Crown of Kings +5. So a really nice item on his part. We have level 5, level 4, level 3. Flavus just in excellent shape right now. He's managing to gain gold. At this point, I still think he's my odds-on favorite. If we go into his base, he does have 2 Chimera Roosts and 4 Ancient of Wind. So I'd like to see another Ancient of Wind and a couple more Chimera Roosts when he's got the gold to do that. But overall, pretty nicely set in here. I suspect we will see him taking a second expansion pretty soon, although I could be wrong on that one. It does look like Rubin has picked up his second expansion, so that's going to help, and a Gem of Health on that Pandarian Brewmaster. So that is really something to be messed with right now. Quite impressive. So Crown of Kings +5, and he's keeping the protection rings on the Panda, which is kind of interesting. We do have 4ER, goes ahead and hits his level 5 Archmage finally. Takes down the rest of that remaining camp. However, he is certainly a little bit behind the other people. Sorry about that, typing out to JS here, so here's your shout out, Jay, when you hear it in 15 minutes. Thank you for letting me know that you could not hear me earlier. I'm sure Maga did a fantastic job on his own, however, it was probably kind of confusing because we were talking back and forth. Unfortunately, I don't think it's even going to be recorded on the local copy. It turns out that the reason it wasn't picked up was it went to the standard mic input and did not automatically change over to my Turtle Beach headset. So that's why you couldn't hear me last game, although fortunately you could at least hear Magadansky. We all know that his voice is the voice of a sexy vampire. So we've got 2 of the middle red camps remaining, which both should be very important due to the fact that they have such incredible items dropped from them. We have Flavus putting up his second expansion, and we have 4ER without a single expansion, although he's doing better gold-wise than I would think he would be doing. Rich is going to go ahead and try and get his first expansion up while putting his second expansion up at the same time, so while he's down on gold currently, it should be pretty easy to make up with the 2, and he has broken 58 actually, so I thought he would stay at 50 for a while. Apparently he feels that it's going to be too much of a threat from 4ER and he has to go up to 80. Don't really like that decision. However, he does have very good solo instinct, so maybe he figures he can take 4ER out and bank later. The other possibility though is he just doesn't play very much free-for-all, and as a result doesn't realize that you need to stay at 50, 80, or 100. Even if he did want to go up, I would wait until I had enough gold to go pretty much directly up to 80 as opposed to sitting at 66 now. He is losing quite a bit of gold every time that he does this. He does have 10 more Food of Wisps coming in for his expansion, so he can probably grab a few more Hippogriffs. He may be a little heavy on them currently. I'm not sure if he has researched the upgrade, although he only has 1 archer left, so Hippo Rider upgrade not essential actually. 4ER maintaining 47. He is one of the Actually, he is the only player to be below 50 at this point, and we do have Rubin coming in to attack Flavus here, so we may have our first true fight of the day. I like Flavus' odds here, although that's a lot of siege engines coming in. We may see the expansion go down before anything can be done about it. So decides not to TP in, instead just going to walk in. I suppose he has not built any wisps yet, so that's not the worst decision ever. However, I would have liked to see him try and actually save it. He is going to have nice positioning here, though, if he can take on Flavus from behind. The tanks are really going to mess up the pathing here, and he should be able to do a lot of damage to the Griffin Riders while going ahead and kiting the siege engines at the same time. The key here is not to have the Hippogriffs be hit by the tanks, and instead have the Hippogriffs only attacking the Griffin Riders, which you can see is much harder than it is for me to just say that. It looks like we may also have Rich fighting 4ER momentarily. I will switch over to that battle if we do get there. There we go. We do have Rich going ahead and pressing in here, but we're going to have 4ER to go ahead and TP out here with no army. Back to the fight up here. Nice job going ahead and choking all these things in here. Rubin being overextended at that moment, although Flavus not taking the advantage that he should have at the moment, but also not losing units, so that is the most important thing. Let's see if he can staff this bear out of there. Bear goes down, and nicely choke pointed here. I think I like this fight for Flavus at the moment, although Flavus is going to TP out due to the fact that everything's getting so low. Big problem there was he let the Hippogriffs just fly right into the tank fire, so I believe that Flavus ended up trading a little bit of a food advantage, although not a whole lot. He had a few more Griffin Riders that he was just unlucky not to kill. Rich over here is going to manage to hit level 4 on his Dark Ranger as well, so his hero levels are very good shape here. Flavus is going to go ahead and rebuild to an 80 food army. Hopefully he'll try and retake that expansion as well, but we'll see. So, just looking around the map here, Flavus with a very typical Night Elf army. Certainly nothing wrong with it. Does have a Inferno Stone and a 5/5/4 hero combination. Nice to see some high-level heroes. It's always a bunch of fun to see. Does have 2-3 upgrades on his unit, so good shape there. One expansion at 80 food, 2,000, 1,000, so could be worse, but could be better there as well. And only 2 Chimera Roosts at the moment. I think that is going to be his main problem. Going over here to Rubin, he's at 73. This could be a problem for him. At the moment, it looks like Rich is coming right in and just going to tear right through him. So Rich going to gain a lot of levels here. I suspect we need to see a TP out here by Rubin. There's that TP, but he is going to lose a lot of stuff before he can do anything. Every Griffin Rider is killed here. And, ooh, just gets the Paladin out of the way. So barely escapes what could have been much worse there, but still not a good fight for Rubin. Not even sure we can really consider it a fight. That was more just an ambush there by Rich. Let's see what items he managed to pick up here. Level 9 Claws is the main drop there. May go ahead and sell that later on for some good money. But very ferocious looking Demon Hunter. When that gets to Metamorphosis, that's going to be very terrifying to deal with for these human players. And even for Flavus as well, though Flavus can silence it to prevent it from going Metamorphosis at the beginning of the fight. So 4ER here, pretty low on gold and does not have an expansion. He's probably in the worst shape of all our players right now. 5/4/2. Hero level is just not competing with everybody else. Does have an interesting army combination with the mortars, Griffin Riders, and tanks. I can see what he's trying to do, however, the mortars are not going to be at all useful versus either our Night Elf players. It may take down the Dryads, but I think Rich is good enough to micro them out of the way. So that's mostly to fight the human players' tanks, or that's mostly what they are used for, and for scouting, although he can also do that with his arcane towers once he upgrades. I think those will just die pretty much instantaneously, though, so he is not in good shape. He's going to have to push out on one of the players in order to grab an expansion. Rich going to go ahead and continue to attack Rubin. Sorry, I was looking through some comments on the stream right now. Does look like everything's working good properly, so glad to hear that. I like the job of using the Ursa to go ahead and kill the Shredder. That was taking a lot of splash damage from these Chimeras, and it's a very good unit, so nice job by Flavus to separate that, and poor Rubin being attacked by both Night Elves at this point. Certainly nothing you can do about it, however, it's one of those moments that's just extremely frustrating, and they probably don't even realize that they're both hitting at the same time. Rich is pretty close to Flavus' base right now. Be interested to see if he goes and tries to hit the last of the players he hasn't hit yet, or if he continues to just move on to his neighbors. Does look like he is moving up towards Rubin at the moment. As we can see, the Chimeras do not have the breath upgrade. I believe this is on purpose on Flavus's part so that they can take down the towers easier. As you can see, the towers have heavy armor. Magic damage just does a lot more damage to that, although you do lose some range. But I believe that's a conscious decision on Flavus's part, and if so, I think it's a right decision and a very nice choice. We got 4,500 gold for him, 4ER 400, Rich 2,700, very low on wood though, but he does have that shredder going, so that's good news. And Rubin at 3,000. So Flavus dominating the macro game right now, getting his second expansion up, and we do have 4ER trying to get another expansion up finally. So Rich, the only one to maintain 2 expansions at this moment, and that could turn out to do quite a bit of good for him later on. We shall see. Continues to go ahead and just take down every creep camp he can. Interesting that he has Black Arrow on right now. Dark minions don't do a whole lot, although I guess, where did Rich's Chimeras go? I could have sworn he had some not too long ago. Apparently not though, so Dark minions may actually do some good, but probably not a whole lot, and it'll be interesting to see how this Druid of the Claw and Hippogriff army matches up against Flavus when they battle later on. I think I would have to say that the I like the advantage towards Flavus's army at the moment, but I certainly like Rich's micro better. I think that's probably the most interesting thing we're going to see momentarily. We may see a 3-way fight between Rubin, Flavus, and Rich. This is not a good position for Flavus here if Rich decides to back up. Here we're going to have a big fight. I like this positioning a lot for Flavus. Flavus is at 100 versus 72 food. Pops that Inferno wasted there. That was not a good use of that Inferno, Flavus. You really should have waited to use that later on. However, he is doing a nice job of winning this fight. Does get those Hippogriffs out of the way now that he's managed to kill all of these Griffin Riders except for one, and focusing down on the siege engines. Roar doing so much damage to the... doing so much attack damage because of the Chimeras at the moment. We do see the Ice Revenant, which is going to go down instantaneously. Panda ripping through the tanks at the moment. Rubin down to 50 food. This is not going to be a good fight for him. We do have a fight going on between 4ER and Rich at the bottom left. Too bad these fights always go at the same goddamn time. Do have the potion popped on Panda. Panda hit 6. Can we see this end? The Paladin does go down there, so switching back down here. Paladin is down. That fight clearly going to Flavus at the moment. We'll see how Rich and 4ER can match up here. Towers are very close to being done. Can the Panda go in there and take care of him before that does happen? Doesn't look like that'll be the case. Griffin Rider is doing a lot of damage to Rich, but in come these Hippogriffs. Let's see how they manage to damage the Griffin Riders. We are going to see these towers are up. This is going to be a very bad position for Rich to fight in right now. Rich really going to lose a lot of units to the towers, it looks like, if he keeps fighting this position, but that Panda is going to do a lot of damage to both the siege engines and the towers at the moment. Not sure why he's not using Breath of Fire more. Nice job using that Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter does hit 6. Let's see, Metamorphosis. There it goes. So Demon Hunter is going to be a beast dealing all of this chaos damage right now. And Rich losing a lot of units, but I gotta say, I think the fight's going in his favor. This looks like the Mountain King may go down. Oh, down. Nice staff out by their Paladin. Paladin does not have a TP on it, though, and is going to be left alone here, so Divine Shield going to be off momentarily, and 4ER saying that he is dead. I don't think he's quite dead yet, but this is not going to be a successful fight for him, to say the least. We do have a healing ward on that Dark Ranger, so could take down a significant amount of these towers now. Let's see if we can go ahead and get a Breath of Fire here. There we go. Okay, so these towers are going to go down very quickly to the Demon Hunter. I like that he did not get tempted to use the Inferno Stone there. And we can see all the splash damage coming off of this. Demon Hunter, Paladin going to come in here, help kill off the rest of these towers. And we do have Flavus scouting him out, so Flavus realizes that Rich is in good position right now. We've got trip 6s on Flavus's heroes. He is in fantastic shape at the moment. The only downfall I could see is he really can't keep up in a hero arena with Rich at the moment. That Demon Hunter could prove to be quite the costly distraction for him when his entire army is being killed by the splash damage. So Flavus still at 80, did drop down from 100 earlier. Rich has his third expansion going up here, and it looks like Flavus can go ahead and push onto him. So we may see Rich being forced to back off 4ER and start to fight Flavus. Nope, Flavus lets him go, actually. So 4ER going to go ahead and Well, 4ER going to go ahead and just keep getting killed, I guess. He does have this Ice Revenant, should be able to do a little bit of damage here and force a TP out. And in comes Flavus. Let's see, is Flavus going to go ahead and try and finish off 4ER, or is he going to play nice? I'm guessing it's going to be the former. Here we go. So Flavus could go ahead and just completely finish 4ER if he wanted to at the moment. Much stronger army. 4ER well behind gold-wise. And it'd be a nice tome for Flavus if he does manage to successfully pull it off. But it looks like he's more worried about finishing off either Rubin or killing WarchiefRich. Or possibly just going for everything. He may be somebody that likes to hit any and everything at all times. Nice job by Rich going ahead and healing this Tree of Life. Probably going to go ahead and bring at least one hero down there to take care of it, although he may decide that the Tree of Life can take care of itself. Rubin coming in here to fight. Let's see if he can keep up. Rubin at 35 food. He is well behind in gold. Charm goes off on that Griffin Rider. Is going to force the upkeep to break into 100 gold territory. So that may not be the best thing for Flavus if we're being honest about it right now. He is going to kill off at least one more Griffin Rider. Nope. Does have that Paladin looking low. Paladin does pop off Divine Shield and has a Scroll of Teleportation. And going to go ahead and use that now. Archmage can go ahead and get right back in there to get into the TP, and out they go. So at the moment we have Flavus running off of only one expansion. He did drain his natural expansion already. We have a bunch of hidden food hippogriffs for Rich at the moment. He is going up to 100. So we can go ahead and go around the map a little bit here. Just looking around. So Rich at the moment on 2 expansions, although one of them has not finished rebuilding its mine. Has about another 12,000 gold in there, but he is mining at 1,000 with 3,000 in the bank and 100 food. He's in decent shape. I like his heroes. If we go over here, he's got 6, 6, and 4. Once that Dark Ranger hits 6 as well, that'll be very useful. But the most important parts are the Panda and the Demon Hunter. 4ER not in good shape. Only 500 gold, no expansion, very few units except for his heroes, and not a level 6 to be seen among them. I hate to count anybody out in free-for-all, but I think it's pretty safe to say he is certainly not going to be the favorite at this point to win. Does have an expansion going up, but I doubt that's going to be kept around along with Flavus. Flavus at 4k and 3,500 wood. He does have a 100 food army. The only negative part I can see is he has a lack of production buildings. He does have, 4 Ancients of Wind, but he only has 2 Chimera Roosts still, only 1 Altar of the Elders, and no extra Tree of Life in his base. So it would be conceivably pretty easy for one of the humans to come in with some tanks and just tear through it. I'm not sure if he has upgraded his tree or not. It does look like he has upgraded it, actually, so that at least is a little bit of comfort to him. Rubin at 28 with 1,000 gold, also no expansion. Probably not going to be good for him as well. Does look like our main fight will probably be between Rich and Flavus. Flavus playing exceptionally well. There we go. We got a charm on a bear, so 104 food for Flavus. This is going to be a very interesting fight. Does not get silence off on the Demon Hunter, unfortunately. We've got a huge Hippogriff battle going on right now. Who can dispel what? That's basically what's going on. We got the healing ward for Rich, so good advantage there. We do have a Keeper of the Grove going ahead and popping its ultimate. Not sure why it's not being silenced. We do have silence for both Dark Rangers. I have not seen it gone off. Rich going to go ahead and be forced to TP out of here. Although he was winning the Hippogriff War, he was losing on the hero front. So Flavus loses pretty much all of his Hippogriffs. Going to have to rebuild 28 food of them if he wants to have any chance. But does manage to force Rich to TP out and continues to maintain his hero advantage at the moment. So as long as he can continue to do that, you think he's in pretty good shape, especially because he is going to manage to grab 2 expansions in the middle here. Presumably he'll go ahead and build the other one soon. Also gets to control the Fountain of Health, so that's always important. Does look like both of our human players at the moment are just kind of biding their time and seeing what they can do. Alright, so we are going to have 4ER continue to harass Rich at this point. They do not have a TP here, so he could be in trouble should Rich manage to TP in here and trap him. Interesting strategy here. I like the fact that 4ER was able to figure out that he can walk around behind the map, allows the mortar teams to do a lot of damage, although Rich doing the smart thing, just moving out of range, realizes that he can't be taken down so easily. A lot of damage being done to the Wisps at the moment. That may be his best bet. There we go, move those out of the way too. I think that he's probably going to have to clear path through the trees, although he may not want to do that at the moment. So really just a lot of annoyment for Rich. However, it certainly can never be underestimated how much you lose when you have to rebuild the Wisps, the time you lose from mining, etc. I would not be surprised to see Rich try and finish off 4ER at the moment. And if he does so, then he should be able to grab level 6 on the Dark Ranger at least, but he may lose quite a bit to these towers, because even with the Panda, it takes a significant amount of damage to bring all those down. Looks like we're going to have Rubin got caught wandering around over here, and Flavus makes some TP out of the way. Flavus only at 90 food right now. Not the best decision. You'd like to see him up to 100 on the dot. There's no point hanging out between 80 and 100. You pretty much just want to be at 100. So Rich going to go ahead and attack Flavus. I think that's probably the wise decision. Flavus is the strongest, however, he is going to have to deal with 4ER attacking him. If that's the case, this could be a very, very bad fight for Rich if Flavus TP's properly in. And here in come the Hippogriffs. Let's see if he can get off a good Panda on them. Breath of Fire is not off yet. Alright. Silence goes down that Panda, so nice job by Rich controlling that Panda. That's obviously the most important part of the fight, and Rich has a ton of Hippogriffs here. He is tearing apart Flavus. This is an awful fight for Flavus, and he needs to TP out ASAP. This Demon Hunter is going to be able to do a huge amount of damage to all the heroes here, and the silence is still going on the Panda right now. So Flavus forced to back off. He is down to 38 food. He has lost pretty much his entire army at this point, and Panda should be able to get off a Breath of Fire on the Keep of the Grove. So nope, staffs it out of the way. So first good move by Flavus in that fight, and he is going to need to back off. Rich may have just taken control of this game, guys. So despite the fact that Flavus was doing so well for the entirety of the game, he lost almost his entire army here, has given the hero levels to Rich, and Rich really just turned that about. Almost going to be level 6 from the Dark Ranger. When that happens, he is going to be in great shape. And Rubin hitting Flavus, adding insult to injury. Can't blame him, but really not what Flavus needs at this point. And there goes Flavus' last expansion. So he does still have a significant amount of gold, but to rebuild to 100, that's going to take almost all of it. Rich is the only one with a running expansion at the moment, although 4ER is going to finish his up momentarily, and Rich will gain a second one soon too. Excuse me for 1 second while I grab some water. Alright, well, we're now in the interesting position of Rich being pretty much the odds-on favorite to win at this point, but he is low on gold. He does have expansions running, so he's in good shape there. However, he has 3 opponents, and at least 2 of them are willing to hit him. 4ER going ahead and attacking his base. 4ER also lagging a little bit, so there are many, many options for things that could go wrong here. Rich forced to waste some precious gold TPing in here. I mean, he doesn't really have to worry about the fighting portion. However, every time he TPs, that's another 350 gold, and that's really something you don't have to waste here. If you drop it back down to 50, you can sell the Scroll of Resurrection for a significant amount of money, but he needs to be below 50 to do that, and he's now being attacked by purple as well, so Rich going to have to face the 3v1 at this point, and despite the fact that he can probably pretty easily take them all down individually, maybe even together in a group, the fact that he's being split up so badly is going to be what really hurts him. I'd like to see Rich carve a pathway through here at some point too with the Tree of Life, so that he can easily get in and out with his army, since he is so much of a ground army at this point. And it does look like Flavus is going to go ahead and pretty much attack with just heroes. kind of a risky move. He only has one scroll of teleportation, so should something happen to this Dark Ranger, he is going to be in huge trouble. My guess is he wants to go ahead and grab something with Charm, then staff it out, TP out, do as much damage to these Moonwells as he possibly can, since Rich does not have very many, and he is certainly doing that job of doing a lot of damage to them at the moment. If Flavus can manage to do significant damage to the income that is being put up by Rich right now, then he may be able to get back in the game. I think at this point it's key that he doesn't take any direct fights. And Rich is uprooted here. Hopefully he does not lose this Tree of Eternity. I do not think he has a Scroll of Teleportation. Oh, he does have one. Let's see if he goes ahead and TP's in here. He doesn't have much choice. This is where you really need that Keeper of the Grove, though. It's so hard to get any of these units to be delayed. Is going to lose that Goblin Shredder, probably. But yeah, this is why the Keeper of the Grove for Night Elf is so important. You want to be able to entangle at least one hero and trap them there so they can't just run in and run out like that. Flavus showing he doesn't know what he's doing, though. And Rubin going to take down the last of these Tree of Lives over here in the middle. And Rich has a ton of Hippogriffs just sitting around doing nothing in the middle here. He's going to have to hope that they don't get hit by something. If that Panda ran across them, that would be bad news bears for Rich. There we go. He does realize he still has some, though. Use him to scout out pretty much everything else, so that's good. And 4ER slowly getting himself back into the game. Does have that expansion up and running. If he can grab a couple thousand gold out of it, then maybe he'll be able to pull off the surprise win at the end. Mass tanks certainly always have a game-changing ability, but it does look like Rich is going to head that way and go ahead and take it down. So, Rich saying, if I can't have gold, then nobody else can. He does desperately need to rebuild some Moonwells, though. He is currently food locked badly, and he's actually going to have a lot of his units go down to the light blue player 4ER right now. So Rich pretty far away, and the fact that his Tree of Eternity is so far away means that a lot of base damage could be done very quickly. Ideally, we'd have this Archmage retrained to Blizzard. I don't think that the Water Elemental helps very much right now. Ooh, he's going to have Flavus in this base too, so despite the fact that Rich playing this very well micro-wise, he is letting a lot of stuff get into his base. Might have overextended himself, and we're going to have Rubin hitting him at the same time, so we've got a 3v1 versus Rich right now. He could get building killed, actually. This could be very bad news for Rich. Rich is going to come in with his army. He does have the Zeppelins here. Picked up a Mountain Giant, which will be an interesting choice here. Hopefully the taunt will help him do something. However, he needs to get this Tree of Eternity out of the way. If that dies, he's going to be in huge trouble. Mortar is doing a good amount of damage now. We're going to have Light Blue go ahead and TP out, though. So doesn't lose a unit there, does lose his TP. Rich locked at 40 now, has the Moonwell that can be hit with one or killed with one hit, and his Tree of Eternity could go down. Let's see. Is the silence going to last long enough? And Tree of Eternity does go down. Potion of Vulnerability goes off on the Panda. Does manage to go ahead and use Charm to grab that back, but Flavus trades off and grabs a bear, so better trade there for Flavus. He is just doing this to stay alive pretty much, but Rich could be in trouble. This is no Trees of Life left, no Wisps. If he gets building killed here, that's going to be a good game for him, despite the fact that he has turned this game around. I mean, he was down early on, didn't have a good early game, came back, had a nice fight for Flavus. That one fight changed everything pretty much, and now we could see him go down in the most ignoble of fashion when he loses all his buildings. Perhaps he has a Wisp hidden around the map, but I certainly don't see it. Does have a significant amount of Hippogriffs left still, so that's something. Alright, so at this point, Rubin continuing to be a little bit of a nuisance here, and does have an expansion up. Not much gold, but if he can grab another 1,500, that would be about 3,000 gold for him. 4ER is grabbing expansion as well. He is being tenacious here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and finish out this match. Then I was just checking to see if we wanted to switch over to the Hawk game, but I'm glad we're going to finish this. I don't like starting a game and not getting to finish it. So I think this should be over relatively soon as well. At this point, I still think Flavus actually isn't the best position again, just because he is banking at 50 on this. He does have good heroes, and he should be able to take care of Rich momentarily. Rich doing a nice job of at least moving some stuff out of the way here. They are uprooted. And does look like Purple actually has a very decent shot at this as well. Heroes are certainly not up to par with either of our Night Elf players at the moment. However, as I've mentioned before, and I'll mention again, tanks can solve pretty much anything. I don't like the fact that he's only at 26 food, though. There's no reason not to be at least 50 food. You don't want to be caught with your pants down when you get hit. And if you're at 26 food and die with 3,000 gold, you are really going to be upset. And Rubin can go ahead and change his attack focus over to Flavus after a solid amount of harassing Rich. I'm pretty sure that Rich will be very grateful for the fact that Rubin can be a pain in the ass to some other player now. He does have to be careful, though. They may decide to go ahead and just team him. That is one of the risks that you run when you hit a lot of people, is that they'll just get annoyed with you and say, okay, we'll go ahead and attack you. Nice job using Dispel on the Water Elemental. As I mentioned earlier, I like to see our human players trade over to Blizzard late game. Let's see if we can go ahead and get this. Nope. So, as I also mentioned earlier, Divine Shield going off on the Paladin. That is one of the reasons that the Dark Ranger can be weaker late game. However, we'll see if we can manage to get the Divine Shield off and an Entangle on the Paladin. Paladin does not have a Scroll of Teleportation on it, and the Staff of Sanctuary has already been used on the Archmage. So here we go. Are we going to go ahead and get this? There we go. Entangle one. Let's go ahead and get a Breath of Fire off on it too. Go ahead and silence it. So Paladin could be going down momentarily. Does not swap over the teleportation, and there it is. Paladin down. Level 7 for that Dark Ranger. So that's really going to be a problem for Rubin. He needed to have that Paladin out, and it's going to cost him an extra 300 or 400 gold to revive it now. Let's see if he chooses to stay where he is or go ahead and go up to 80. 4ER is trying to take down the buildings at the moment. However, he may not be successful, and he just managed to staff out the only thing that had a TP on it. So this is going to be very bad news for 4ER. He could lose pretty much all of his units in one go here, or all of his heroes. Does manage to go ahead and heal that Mountain King. However, Mountain King's still looking low. It is going to go down momentarily to this Demon Hunter. Nope, there goes the heal, but it's still low. And a Breath of Fire would kill it now, and there it is. Mountain King goes down there. Not going to continue to chase that Paladin, but 4ER did not have the gold to be wasting on reviving a hero. You got to like the fact that he was doing something proactive. However, staffing out his Archmage, clearly a mistake there. Should have used the TP. So, we've got Rich versus 4ER and Flavus versus, Rubin in our Night Elf versus Human matchups here. Kind of interesting the way that it's panned out, but certainly more exciting. Mirror match is never the most interesting things in the world, so glad to see that. And interestingly enough, we are getting our first bits of manip here. Rubin is saying, somebody please kill off Blue, and Rich is saying that he didn't really kill very much of 4ER, and 4ER is just kind of whining a little bit. To be fair, though, when you only have like 3 heroes and 3 mortars, losing one of your heroes is pretty much losing your entire army. Also, losing your Town Hall at the only expansion you have, not good. So Rich, unfortunately, though, still no Wisp. I mean, the units he has are all that he's going to have for the rest of the game. Looking over here, Flavus gaining a second expansion. So putting himself in good position. One thing that I can comment on for all these players, their scouting is pretty abysmal. It should not be hard to realize when Rubin is getting the strongest army by now. I mean, Rich needs to realize that his main opponent is not 4ER, and that 4ER is just an annoying distraction. 4ER needs to stop trying to take down Rich and focus on teaming Flavus at this point. Both of them can be held at partly responsible for this, I think, but Rubin is not going to be up to taking Flavus down on his own, and if one of either Rich or 4ER gets taken out and Rubin gets taken out, Flavus is going to have a pretty easy path in the 1v1, I think, now that Rich does not have a base. Rich's heroes certainly are intimidating, and 4ER would obviously have a chance with the tanks to roll in, or his mortar combination they seems to love using. However, not a good position for any of our players not named Flavus. There we go. So, Rich has noticed that Blue has 2 expansions here, does not want to continue to fight 4ER. Hopefully they'll go ahead and change it over to fighting versus Flavus and teaming him down. We did notice earlier that they had a nice team on Rich, although I believe that was pretty much completely unintentional at this point, based off of the playstyles I've seen from them, so maybe they'll do a proper go-ahead and push and take down most of Blue. If they could take down Blue's expansions and the main within his base, put him in a position similar to Rich, I'd say it would probably be pretty much anybody's game. I do like the fact that Flavus here is managing to charm off units still. He'll get up to 80 food momentarily, and he's over 1,000 gold again, so I like the odds of him continuing to strong push here. Druid's the Talon coming in for a Cyclone now and then. Also a nice choice on his part. I would like to see him take out these guard towers quicker. However, beggars can't be choosers, and clearly I'm not playing, because if I was, I would have lost already. Keep the Grove looking very low there. Does staff it out. Nice play by Flavus. And that Panda continuing to just do so much damage. Kills off that Mountain King. I'm going to see this Archmage go down momentarily, I would guess, although Paladin does have at least one more heal in it. And, nope, Flavus just going to move out of range of it. See if we can go ahead and get this Archmage down, the Paladin down as well. Paladin looking very low there. Should be one more Breath of Fire, and Paladin does go down. Archmage going to go ahead and TP, but just back to its main base, so not going to be able to do too much. Honestly, not sure the Archmage makes a whole lot of difference right now. This is pretty much a good game for Rubin. Does have 700 gold, so I suppose if he manages to survive, he could rebuild a little bit, at least his heroes, but boy, harsh fight for Rubin, and the fact that Rich and 4ER continue to fight, just putting it in Flavus' favor. I'm sure he's got to be phenomenally happy that they are going ahead and playing this out the way they are. And Rich going to go ahead and take down this Mountain King, it looks like. Nice job of going ahead and maintaining the drive. Ooh, staffed. Nice staff. So, guard towers continue to be a problem here. Surprised that we haven't seen the Demon Hunter go meta. Maybe it's going on a cooldown at the moment. They are going to try and go ahead and kill off this Archmage. However, that tower is doing a lot of damage here. And there we go. Meta goes off. This is going to be game over for the Archmage. Let's see if the Mountain King comes out. Yep, so Mountain King is now out of its stupor that it was caused by the Staff of Sanctuary. Pretty much all of 4ER's units are going down. Loses that mortar, so he is out of actual units. And boy, we can see how much damage that Demon Hunter can do. Needs to focus on the remaining towers and just go ahead and take those down. Flavus has successfully saved both of his expansions here, so he continues to run off of 2 expansions, healing himself up with that Keep of the Grove. Great, great shape for him at the moment. We do have a 5-3 hero coming in with the Paladin and the Mountain King. Paladin goes ahead and pops off his Divine Shield. And 4ER pointing out the green is very weak. Kind of true, however, you still have to manage to get in and kill those units. Kill those buildings. Honestly, at this point, 4ER's best chance is to go ahead and just use his heroes to try and kill those. However, once those heroes die, he really has no way of getting them back. He is out of gold for revives, does not have an expansion, does have a hidden shredder, but don't think that'll do him a whole lot of good. Oh, sorry, he does have an expansion, actually. So it may take a while, but he could get the heroes back. And Rich understandably thinking that he kind of got the short stick here. Unfortunately, that is probably the way that it works in free-for-all. Rich was the strongest for a little while, and he did hit pretty much everybody. I think early game he could have finished off 4ER to put himself in better position. I like the use of the Panda splitting here. Let's go ahead and get a Cyclone and a Surround off on the Paladin. We're going to go ahead and keep chasing the Mountain King. Let's see if the surround comes. Yep, there it is. So nice surround on the Paladin, and the Demon Hunter is going to be able to single-handedly take down the Mountain King without a whole lot of effort here. I did notice the Archmage just went down. I presume Flavus is still managing to kill off the purple human player known by Rubin. And Rubin probably unhappy about that, so it does look like it will be a Rich versus Flavus game later on, and we are going to have that Mountain King go down to the Demon Hunt. Nope, sorry, Rich apparently decided to tease him a little bit. There it goes. Down to the Demon Hunter. We've got just barely a little bit of time left on our Pandarian Brewmaster, but does manage to kill it off there at the end. So now Rich able to go ahead and finish off 4ER when he gets a moment. I'm guessing that he will go ahead and try to finish off the expansion if he sees it. Not sure if he does. Drop back in here. We do have Flavus up to 80 food, and Rubin's got nothing. He has a few hidden peasants over here. And oof, Rich caught unaware here. I'm not sure that even with auto attack though, Panda did a huge amount of damage to Hippogriffs. So it's just going to feed experience. Unfortunately, Rich actually does need those Hippogriffs if he wants to fight Flavus late game. And Rich complaining that this was not fair. To be fair, they did team Flavus as well, and this is going to be GG for Rich. We'll leave 4ER alive. And somehow Rubin still has one hero left, actually. Did not realize that. Unfortunately, it's just a level 5 Mountain King. And there we go. Altar goes down. He has an Ancient of Lore left, and that's going to be a good game for Rich. He played well. Unfortunately, needs a little more experience with fighting the free-for-all style of play. If 4ER had any units left, then he would be able to go ahead and gain some free expansions, or free experience there, but unfortunately he did not. So it does look like we are going to pull off a pretty easy win for Flavus in the end here. He's played very solidly all game, although he did have that one fight where he just got dominated by Rich. But he should be able to go ahead and just pretty much easily clean up now. Not exactly sure what other commentary I can use on there we go. So that's a good game. Flavus in first score-wise, Rich not far behind him. Overall, I gotta say that I thought this was a very good game. Very enjoyable. Kept it under an hour, so that's always nice to see. And Flavus deserved the win. I hope that Rich continues to play, though. I really think he's a great player, and I think he could do a lot of good things if he came back and managed to play some more free-for-all. I'm going to go ahead and join another game now.